Y'all will not believe the amount of stuff that has come to light so far in this Diddy trial. Hey, it's Tamika. I'm back this week. And if you want to know or get filled in case you've been on another planet on what's been going on with this trial, stick around and listen. Pay attention now. So far, who's testified have been a security guard, Cassie, and a male S worker. They finally wrapped questioning for Cassie today, but she has been testifying overall for about 20 hours, okay? So, in case y'all don't know what Diddy is being charged with, his charges are racketeering, conspiracy, transportation to engage in prostitution, and sex trafficking. All right, so let's get into it. So Cassie basically is saying that, or is saying that she met Diddy when she was 19 years old. She was a model in New York, and upon meeting him, he signed her to a 10 album contract, right? And just keep in mind, Cassie to date has only released one album, and we'll get into why a little bit later. Although at the age of 19 they weren't dating, I think they kissed or something in between that time, she didn't actually start dating Diddy until she was 21 years old, okay? So again, at 21 years old she starts dating Diddy, and this is when their relationship actually becomes sexual. Right off top, he lets her know that he's into voyeurism, and that's basically when someone likes to watch another person have relations with another person. And at that time, she says that she's not very like sexually experienced. So, all this is new to her, basically. And pretty much she thought it was weird, but she was young and she admired like his, just his charisma and just, his way of living and all that kind of stuff. So that's why she agreed to it. So at 22, he introduced her to freak offs, right? And from her, account, these freak offs could last days, okay, and went on for over a 10-year period. She talked about sometimes like they would get so like reckless during these freak offs that there would be like urine and blood all over the walls and whatnot, just craziness. At one point they talked about like how he had to pay like thousands of dollars to get one of these hotels fixed because they had wrecked it so bad during one of these freak offs. So drugs were used very much during these freak offs, and Cassie did state that she used these drugs just so that she could kind of like numb herself and detach herself from what was going on, because the way she explained it, she wasn't necessarily proud of what she was doing, and she wasn't necessarily comfortable with what she was doing, and she was made to feel like she had to act like she enjoyed it, because if she didn't, he would say things. Y'all need to keep in mind she's really young, so this actually has an effect on her. He would say things like, "Oh, you're boring," or anytime that she would say like she kind of doesn't want to do them. And she really loved him, and she felt like that's what she needed to do. She also said that she felt like if she didn't do it, then basically somebody else would do it. So those were her reasons. Some of the main things that were talked about during these freak offs was that there were points where she was nauseous because she was being urinated on. She stated that she didn't like that. But there was a point where one of the male S workers that testified said that she actually asked for him to do that, right? So that went on. She talked about how she had sores in her mouth, and she let Diddy know that she had these sores in her mouth, and he basically was like, keep the party going type of thing. That she had frequent like UTIs that she could not get rid of because she was doing freak offs so often. And that goes back to the whole record deal thing. She was saying that freak offs took over her, basically like her career was non-existent. It was occupied with setting up and participating in freak offs. She was also made to participate in these when she was on her cycle. And anytime that she would say no, there was a chance that he would, you know, how do I say this? Because this is TikTok, that he would assault her, basically, physically assault her. So she gave an indication that violence was definitely used to keep her kind of in her place, right? Her career was used to keep her in her place and keep her doing the things that he wanted her to do. So there was a control element there, right? She also talked about how she actually would, per his instruction, look for male escorts to his liking on sites like Craigslist. I was tripping about that because it's so many things that go wrong on Craigslist, especially back in the day. They had the Craigslist killer and all these different things. And just, it sounds to me these are random people. And I was like, that's a lot of germs and whatnot. But yeah, she did admit that she, would reach out to these male S workers. It was also indicated that she had, reached out to some of these S workers without Diddy's knowledge at times, right? So this cycle of abuse continued on throughout their 10-year relationship. There were times that they took breaks. She dated other people, but then he would threaten those people or threaten her and whatnot. So now I got y'all all caught up. So today was the last day of her testifying, and some things came out today. So basically, she, towards the end of at the end of their relationship, she started dating Alex Fine, right? And he's like a celebrity trainer, but she started dating him, and actually he was Diddy's trainer. Okay, I remember this just from a long time ago, but he was Diddy's trainer, and she starts to date him at this point. She goes to meet with Diddy though when she first met Alex, and this is supposed to be a closure conversation where they're sitting and they're talking, they're just giving each other closure, and that was going to be end of it. At the end of that conversation, they're at dinner, and he's like, "Can I drive you home?" So he takes her home, and when he gets her to her house, Cassie states that Diddy essays her on her living room floor. Yes, essays her on her living room floor, gets up and bounces. And again, this is while she's in the beginning stages of her relationship with Alex Fine. So the defense then questions her because they basically pull up text messages where after this incident, she's talking with Diddy again. And it's in a friendly way and basically saying that she misses him and all these different things. And yeah, so she's talking with him. They ask her, did she have another encounter, sexual encounter with him after the essay? She states that she has, or she did. And they're like, why would you do that if he essayed you? And she was like, well, we were together for 10 years. We were in a long relationship. I don't know. But apparently, during that encounter, her now husband FaceTimed her while she was doing the do with Diddy. Okay? And you can see that right here. All right? Right there. Okay? They pulled up the transcripts. The other thing that happened today is they played an audio where Cassie is like screaming at a male S worker because he's saying that he has her on film, and she's like, show me the tape, show me the video. If you have me on tape doing stuff, show it to me. I want to see it, like give it to me. She didn't want him to have the tape, and she starts to threaten him and saying that she was going to unalive him, and she's never unalived anybody before, and that she'll unalive him and nobody know who did it or something like that. Just losing her mind. Okay. So yeah, I got y'all caught up. So, I mean, do you think, based off of this, that the prosecution is making their case? Do you feel like, what I will say, I feel like Cassie was pretty transparent. Like, I think that she told her truth. I think that she admitted to a lot of things that, to be quite frank with you, I'm sure a lot of people would have took to the grave. But she did. She told things that didn't hold her in the best light. Her husband was sitting right there, and I saw today that he came out with a statement, just, and he's always been supportive of her, just saying, that he's very proud of her. But yeah, get into the comments and let me know what y'all think about this case, and let me know. I'm going to continue to update y'all weekly on this, okay?